Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense.
All right, is this not going? All right, hey America, this is Kevin with the Lost Art of Common Sense, and as you'll notice that Josh is not here, and I'd like to welcome Kris to the program. And Kris, today we'll be talking college football. So tell us a little about yourself and what team you root for, and
All right. Well, first off, thanks for letting me be on. Thanks for having me on. I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited to be here. I like talking college football, and I like talking college football with people that pay attention to it as much as I do, uh, so that we can get some good dialogue going. But yeah, as you can tell from my hat, I'm an Iowa fan, but
go Hawks.
yes, I'm a Iowa alum too, uh, so I've watched them for a long time, and born and raised in Iowa as well. So uh, no longer live there. Live in Tennessee now, so it's hard to get some good Hawks discussions going down here because
I
everybody
can
wants to
imagine.
talk about the Volunteers. But I like, yeah,
You're not a Titans fan, are you?
no, I'm not. I still like Buffalo, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Still Bills fan, huh?
yeah. In the
It's a good
Titans,
time to like them. I mean, not as good as it was in the '90s, but
yeah, yeah.
they're getting that close.
They keep getting almost there. I don't know if they'll ever get over the Patrick Mahomes hump.
No,
He
I
just
don't.
seems
A
to,
lot of people can't.
yeah, he seems to just get better as the pressure increases in games. So I don't know if they'll ever be able to overcome that, but I sure hope so. So
I bet, yeah.
yeah,
You
but
just need like a somehow Mahomes to like just have one bad game, man, during the playoff.
yeah, I just can't.
See it?
I've gotten to where I don't really get very invested in. I'm kind of not going to get very invested in football until the Chiefs lose in the playoffs because they can sputter around in whatever in the regular season, but once they hit the playoffs, they hit second and third gear, and
Yeah. They just
they have the experience, they've got the confidence, and they just get better as the game gets tighter and later in the game they seem to get better. And I feel like that's kind of in at least Buffalo, that's in their head, I think, a little bit. I think Josh Allen, especially, I think he starts to press in those tight games towards the end, and I think Patrick Mahomes just gets more confident and cool, calm, collected, and
yeah
yeah,
able to make those plays.
yeah, exactly. I think he's on a tier above every other quarterback in the league right now by himself.
Oh,
So
he's by yeah. It's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. I mean, I'd
yeah,
put Allen on the second tier,
I
but
would, I would, I put him there. Joe Burrow, like
Joe
2 years.
Burrow's just sidelined by the people around him.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
line, basically.
I felt like 2 years ago, he was really sharp, but he's had some injury concerns, and it's just there's been
Yeah.
some turnover there. They lost their running back.
Hey, at least it's not as bad as Tua.
Yeah, I don't know if Tua's ever going to recover his.
They say he's going to come back, man. I can't believe it. I mean,
Yeah,
his brain's going to be mush by the time he's 30.
I know. The Because of his injuries, that was how I was introduced to the whole fencing response from a traumatic brain injury. Like I didn't know what that was until I started seeing videos of that happening to Tua when he
Yeah.
would get a concussion, and then I started noticing like MMA fights when a guy gets knocked
Yeah.
out,
They'll,
he
like,
does that. Yeah, he
yeah.
does that, and especially those slap fight videos when a guy gets knocked out,
Oh,
they'll fall
yeah. I've
down and
seen
they'll
those.
yeah, they'll do that.
Those are something else, man. I'm like, I don't
I
know
don't
who
know
would
how
put
that
himself
is.
to it. I mean,
I don't know how that is legal. I don't know how.
I don't know why anybody would do it.
Oh,
Like you're gonna get hit no matter what, unless you got that like that one slap. You just know you're not gonna get hit. You know,
I've seen some of them where by the end there's guys that just won't go down, and by the end they do not look at all like the guy that started the fight. I mean, their whole side of their face is
swollen.
swelling, and they're usually bleeding. They can't see out. I mean, I don't know how these
They
guys.
wear mouth guards in those.
I think they do. I think they do.
Okay, it's like because somebody would just like have to have like half their teeth just gone. Cause
Oh gosh, it's I don't know how. I don't know how. I think it's just new enough and under the radar enough that they're doing okay. But I think eventually
yeah, somebody's gonna
there's
do
going to be an
something.
incident. Yeah, yeah,
Like somebody's gonna die or something. You know, something's gonna happen to where
yeah. Someone's going to have an injury that they have noticeable permanent damage from.
that or somebody gets hit in the temple, like with the
Yeah,
ball of somebody's hand or something, just by
yeah,
accident. And just
yeah. I guess Dana White he's the ringleader of the whole thing. He
makes
organizes it all.
sense. Yeah,
But I
makes
don't.
sense.
I mean, UFC is pretty regulated pretty well now.
Yeah, it used to be just bare knuckle
Yeah,
ass whooping. I mean,
I
that's
was
when the
wa-
UFC was
yeah,
awesome.
I was watching some old videos of it before, and it would just be like
Like there was
you
no rule other than just
yeah,
don't hit somebody in the crotch, and that's about it.
yeah, you'd just get like some giant guy from Brazil would show up that nobody knew who he was, and then you'd have some like wrestler, D1 wrestler that turned UFC, and then they just throw him in a cage.
Yeah,
Like who knows what's going to happen?
let's just see what happens, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what was interesting. Like you didn't know what
That's
was
how
going
it
to
was
happen.
in the '90s. Yeah, but now
So
it's all pretty organized and regulated, and I mean, a lot of them anymore they just end it in a submission, like a
yeah,
they'll get a they end in like rear naked choke, like the guy got him down and got him in a good headlock, and then that's
yeah.
it. You
I mean,
know,
it's turning more into I don't know. It's not nearly as exciting as it was. I just
yeah, it's not. It's it.
you
it
really don't see a lot of kicks. I mean, other than to the legs, you don't see like maybe once in a while by, but you don't see somebody just try to kick somebody in the head like they used
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
It's a
more
lot
like
more conservative.
takedowns and
It's yeah,
submissions.
a lot more conservative than it was. Uh, yeah, it's just I mean, even when it got kind of big when Conor McGregor, because he was a good showman,
Yep.
then he started losing. He would lose to Khabib, and Khabib was just a pure wrestler.
Yeah.
He would just get him down and wrestle him,
Yep.
and then McGregor. I honestly think McGregor did the Mayweather fight and made bank, and then
Oh yeah.
he just didn't have the drive anymore after that.
No,
He made just ridiculous money, and it was like, why go in there?
I don't think he made nearly as much as Mayweather did. He? I think
I
Mayweather
don't
made
think
like
so, but for him going from UFC to that, I
it's
mean,
a
yeah, I think he had to make on the order of 10 million, or I don't know.
but I think like Mayweather made like 80 million or something.
Uh, I mean, I could see that. I could see that. I watched it.
I did too.
Yeah,
I watched
I
it.
watched it. I mean, it wasn't even. I mean, there wasn't even a knockdown.
Yeah.
Just Mayweather.
No, it was it was kind of
Yeah,
pathetic, really.
yeah. Mayweather had worked. He had worked McGregor enough, and then he started getting several like clear face shots, headshots, and then the ref just called it.
Yeah,
He got him like three or four real clear, solid shots to the face, and then the ref just called it.
I know.
And so, I mean, you knew where it was going, but I mean, it was pretty conservative call to an end of a fight, I think. But
Before we get to our main subject, I want to ask something real quick. What do you think about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul boxing match that's going to happen? Do you think who do you think is going to win, and do you think they're actually going to let him fight, or do you think it's more like the last like Tyson fight where he fought? Was it? I can't remember what he
Roy
fought
Jones
last.
Jr.,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be more like that.
yeah,
I think, I mean, okay, when they go to these press conferences and square off, like Jake Paul he's trying to be the showman he is and say the stuff he says, but Tyson's just smirking the whole time.
Yeah.
He's doesn't seem to be taking it seriously at all. I think it will be. I think honestly, both guys are going to make a lot of money, and I think there'll be a few good punches. I don't think there'll be any knockdowns. I think it'll end up being a split decision at the end.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be a split decision.
I think there's some enough of an agreement behind the scenes going on that neither guy is really risking that much.
No.
And I would love to see Mike Tyson go in there and knock him out.
I would too. I would love just to see just a smidgen of the old Tyson, you know.
I would find that so satisfying.
I would too.
I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Jake Paul actually has more control in this because he's got more money now and he's got control of this whole weird celebrity boxing thing.
Yeah, I just he doesn't take it seriously because he's not actually boxing contenders or anything, you know.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, he's just. It's all about getting his name out there and making money and continue. He's mainly about just being a web influencer is really, and just this is just something that helps fuel it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Once he started doing the old UFC guys, right? He'd fight the old UFC guys, and everybody's like, fight a real fighter, fight a real fighter. And then he fought the Fury kid, and that one was kind of lame anyway, and he lost by points. And then he started saying he had nowhere to go from there, so he started saying, well, I'm going to be a legitimate champion. I'm going to work to be a champion. So he started fighting all these no-name pseudo boxer guys, and he did it for a while, and then but he never fought like a legitimate boxer, and then he went over to this Tyson thing. So I don't think he ever really had any intentions of.
I don't either.
Of putting in the work to be a real fighter, but what he is doing is making money. So
I can't blame the guy. He's making plenty of money. He's making more than I am.
Yeah, I think when it all comes down to it, that's all he really wants to do, and I think he's being successful at what he wants to do. But I think anybody that goes into that fight with him and Tyson hoping to see some sort of fireworks, they're going to be really disappointed. So
I don't think. Like I said, if I'm going to put any money on it, I'm going to put money on split decision.
That's what I would say. They probably have an agreement of something like that, you know.
No, I would guarantee it. I guarantee there's something behind the scenes that no like hard hits to the head, make it look good, but don't no full power shots to the face or head or
yeah.
So I'm sure of it.
And they have the bigger gloves.
Yeah, they got the more padding in their gloves. So
and then shorter rounds. Which I guess that's because Tyson's old. I don't know, but
I saw Tyson train, man. He still seems like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I mean, he's extremely fast. He's obviously a very strong guy. I mean, I don't know. I'm 43. What's he? 58?
Yeah,
but he's like, but he's like a freak of nature too.
Yeah,
I feel like if you train well, you could do 8 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, eventually age is always going to be there though.
Yeah. People are talking like, well, if Tyson comes in and he's got to get a knockout in the first 4 rounds, and then if it gets past 4 rounds, then I would favor Jake Paul. And it's like, well, I guess, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. I just, like you said,
Tyson still hits just as hard in the 8th round as he does in the first round. Maybe he's a little.
I could see like Jake Paul screwing up and like accidentally hitting Tyson too hard.
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that everybody knows that like deep down inside, Tyson's got a little bit of a screw loose.
Yeah, Tyson's still a little crazy. Let's not like he never lost that. Just
Yeah.
because he got a little bit more money, came up with a few businesses, a little weed business and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
tobacco business. I mean, it doesn't mean he doesn't still have a screw loose. He's
Yeah.
just aged, a little more wisdom. But
Yeah.
if you touch that screw wrong, he's gonna knock you the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah. I root for Tyson just because he's kind of like the I don't know. He was the champion, and then he was just nothing, dead broke. Now he's kind of just like the. He goes on the shows and just kind of tells stories about how he learned his lessons, and he's just trying to do his best now. He kind of wish for just one more moment of glory for him, but
Yeah,
I think Jake Paul has too much to lose if he gets knocked out,
agreed.
and this is a big this whole show he's got going on is a big revenue stream for him. So I don't think he's ever going to get himself in a position where he's got a good chance of a disastrous knockout. I don't think he's ever going to let himself get like he's too smart for that.
Yeah, he's making too much money doing this.
Yeah, he's
He loses one, it's going to look bad.
yeah, it's over then. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, as obnoxious and goofy as he is, I do not think he is dumb. I
no,
think
you can't do what he did from being like a YouTube star to all
yeah,
this crap
yeah,
to making all this money by being an idiot. I mean, he might
yeah,
act like
yeah,
an idiot, but
yeah,
I think he's smarter than what he looks like.
yeah. When it all comes down to it, I don't think he's dumb, but I still don't like him.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Yeah,
I wish Mike Tyson would knock him the hell out.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, let's get to our main topic, and that is college football. We hit some of the and more parts, so that's good. Um, do you think college football is better now than it was 5 or 10 years ago?
Um,
It's a loaded. I mean,
yeah, I would say maybe better than it was 5 years ago. Not better than it was 10, and probably not better than it was 15 years ago. 10 years ago is when they went from 2 to 4 in the playoff.
yeah,
And my thought on the playoff is the perception is that if we can make the playoff, the playoffs will make it like the NFL, where it's everybody's kind of got a shot, but college football does not have the same playing field that the NFL does. There's no draft. There's no salary cap.
yep,
There's certain teams that I don't care how big you make that playoff. There's certain teams that are always gonna. There's like 4 or 5 teams that are always gonna win.
yeah. You got your Alabama, your Georgia, your Ohio State,
Yep.
usually a Michigan,
Uh
then an
huh.
Oregon. Now it's, I mean, whoever's got the most money.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way with the NIL. Yeah, there's just there's no salary cap. It's just where whoever can get the money in there.
I think, what is it, Phil Knight for Nike? Is that CEO of
Yeah.
Nike? Yeah. He said he has an open checkbook for Oregon. So,
Oh yeah. And
yeah.
then I saw an interesting thing today. Colin Cowherd was talking about how he's like Texas is about to take over the SEC, and he said the reason is Texas is in Austin, and Austin is where all of the tech companies are moving.
Yep.
Um, what do you have in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? What do you have in Athens, Georgia? What do you have in these other SEC towns? It's basically a big college town.
I
Where
get that, but is like, I mean, just because they moved to Austin, is it really? I mean, they came from
yeah, yeah,
California. Are they still,
yeah. Do they have like
USC people, or are they still like Stanford or Cal or
that's a good point.
UCLA? I mean, yes, they're there, but I mean, it depends who's running it and where they came from. Is mostly, I mean, obviously they're going to hire more out of Austin, so those people probably make more money.
Yeah,
I know.
wherever your kind of your personal allegiance lies.
But Texas never starved for money. Let's not act like Texas was a no name program. I mean, Texas has always been Texas. Never had a problem recruiting. They've had the best recruiting area for years. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know what the hell went wrong with them for the last 7 years, 8 years. mean, they
Yeah,
should have been
after they
better.
won that national championship with Vince Young, they kind of became irrelevant for a while.
Yeah, I don't know if it was once they got Mac Brown out of there. I mean, it just
Uh,
seemed like they couldn't find their footing there for a while.
yeah, I don't know what um, I don't know what really happened there.
No, because they still had like top 5 recruiting base every
And they
time.
had a
And
lot of they had a lot of turnover with their coaches as well. I
yeah,
don't know how many coaches have they gone through in the last 10 years.
5, 6.
Yeah, yeah,
It's been a lot.
yeah. And I think we're getting to this later, but I honestly they're number one right now. I don't think they're going to end up number one, but
No, who do they play this week? God.
they play Georgia.
Oh yeah, I think Georgia might win.
I think Georgia will win. They're playing.
Are
I
they
think they're
playing
playing.
in Texas
They're playing in Texas. They're playing in Texas.
I still think Georgia will win.
I think Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win this game, and then they're gonna go on from there, and I think they're gonna win the SEC.
Well,
I think,
Georgia.
yeah, I think they lost to Alabama in Alabama. They kind of got. I think they just got in their
They
own
came
head.
close to winning that game, being down
Yeah,
27 to like 3.
they made the right adjustments and then came back
Yeah,
after just being flat in the first half. So that's kind of a minor win, and I just think Alabama's going to fade. I think Georgia has all the pieces, and I think eventually they're going to springboard from this game onto the
I think so too.
yeah.
That's my thoughts. I think Georgia's. I still think it's between Ohio State, Georgia, and Oregon as the best teams in the nation.
Yeah, and I just don't have a lot of confidence in Ryan Day up in
I
Ohio
don't
State.
either. He hasn't won a big game.
Yeah, I feel like when it just comes down to it, he's just not sharp enough. Doesn't quite have that killer instinct. I don't know. This is just like my perception of him in like interviews and on the sidelines.
Yeah,
I mean, just last week against Oregon.
that Dan Lanning though. Yeah, when you put 12 men on the field to waste.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they had they had a minute 47 left. Ohio State did to go down and get a field goal,
Yep.
and they actually got to Oregon's 28 with like 22 seconds left, and then
Yeah.
they had a stupid offensive pass interference call that moved them
Why wouldn't you just run it?
yeah, exactly,
Like it
exactly.
doesn't make sense. Just run it shoot 3 times, and kick the field goal.
Yeah, just pound the rock and win.
Yeah. Spike it on third and kick your field goal if you don't have the
Exactly,
timeouts or
exactly.
whatever.
But
Yeah,
then
it's just
they got a 15-yard offensive pass interference call that pushed them out of field goal range, which is weird. But so they're at the 42, and then Oregon did that weird 12-man on the field, which I think like how is that even a rule? Like you could have 12-man on the field and it's a 5-yard penalty.
I know. Why wouldn't you just put 14 men? Who
Yeah,
cares, right?
I know.
Why don't you just make sure they don't get a pass?
Yeah, how
I'll
did
take 5 yards over 10,
Yeah,
20.
yeah, exactly. Like, how did we get this far and before that was
But
exposed?
how can't believe no one exposed it before.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah,
was brilliant. I was
it
like,
was.
holy crap.
It was very shrewd on the part of Oregon that they had it all figured out and planned and knew the exact situation to do it in and everything. So, but yeah, so they got that, and then they had 10 seconds left, and the quarterback just lost his mind, and he could have just ran 5 yards, sat down, and then they kick a kick from like the 35 or something, which is not easy, but it's a makeable field goal.
Yeah.
But he ran too far, slid late, and then
Slid late.
and then the game's over. And it was a weird play. Like it looked like he was legitimately going back to pass.
Like, why? Again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, well, were you going to throw a touchdown from there? No, you weren't going to. Nobody, that wasn't going to work.
Like, you didn't have enough time, period.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
unless you threw it to the sideline. I mean,
yeah. So
I
I
mean,
was
it
like,
had to be a quick pass.
yeah. So that whole sequence to me is like that falls on the head coach. Like it was like 3 or 4 bad decisions in a row that cost you the game there.
I can see if they don't win the national championship that Ryan Day gets fired.
Maybe his only saving grace is he'll beat Michigan this year.
Well, I mean, everybody's beating Michigan. I think Illinois is going to beat Michigan tomorrow.
I know.
That's one of my. I'm going to bet that Illinois beats Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I know. That's the only thing I can think of that would save his job this year is they'll be like, well, at least he beat Michigan.
Yeah, I saw that Michigan has a worse offense in the first 6 games than Iowa did last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know that their coach, that Moore, that they brought in after Harbaugh, he's like the third worst paid coach in the Big Ten. Like,
really?
Ferentz is bringing in like 6.5 million, and he's like number 8.
Yeah.
Sharon Moore's bringing in like 3.
Which is I guess. I mean, I think he was still making $1 million last year.
Sharon Moore?
Yeah. I think he's making over $1 million, so it's not even that big of a pay jump. And you might get fired. So you should.
And you're running one of the highest pressure programs in the country.
Like, yeah. That just shows that they didn't really believe in him. They're just this is like testing out the water. See if
exactly.
So I mean, if he doesn't, I know they're not going to make the playoff, obviously. But if it happens, I mean, if they have a losing season or a 6-6, he's gone.
Yes, you're right. He is.
I think it was just test the water, see if he has some magic. But I mean, Michigan lost a ton last year.
They did.
Or this year. So
yeah, I mean, they lost JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
Who was that big back they had, that running
Blake
back?
Corum.
Did they lose him or they still got him?
He's in the NFL. He plays for the Chargers.
Oh, really? He went up with Harbaugh.
He was drafted by the Chargers.
Harbaugh
I think in like the 5th or 6th
Harbaugh made out by far best on all of this.
Oh yeah, I mean he was going to get probably sanctioned or something for that whole sign stealing.
Yeah,
he was going to be probably suspended for 6 games or a year or whatever.
Yeah,
sign stealing thing.
They were going to throw the book at him. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole documentary I guess that kid made. And I don't know. I've never watched it, so
the kid that was kind of the mastermind of it all, that like
had the one that was going to the games and stuff and stealing all the signs. Yeah, so I guess he made a documentary or something. I don't think he ever admitted to it.
He was. It was weird. It was like he was. I don't know. Like it was like he took some of it upon himself to do. A lot of these ideas were like his. He was just like obsessed with Michigan football, and he was kind of coming up with these ideas on his own, and then kind of like coming back, and people knew what he was doing, and he was kind of sharing the information, and so that's what the issue was. That like Harbaugh knew at least enough about what was going on that
he knew.
Yeah,
like he's gonna get these, this.
Yeah.
This kind of knowledge without something shady going on.
Yeah. But it's weird to me that like the best picture they got of the guy is he's on the Western Michigan sidelines. Like why do you care about Western Michigan?
Why are you stealing Western Michigan sign? Like you're gonna win.
Why risk it? He seemed to me like he was just like obsessed with Michigan football, and he was going to do whatever it took to help the team, but he didn't realize that like he was just going about it in a foolish way.
Like one part of the documentary I did see, like it was just a clip, was I guess Jim Harbaugh gave him the game ball the last time they played Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So not saying something happened, but
well, and then once everything went public, he just like left, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just left.
Yeah, now he's coaching, I think, a high school football team.
I saw that. Yeah, he is. He's not even a head coach. He's like I don't know, offensive wide receivers coach or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he made a bunch of money at Michigan, like they paid him under the table or something.
I have no idea.
I'm guessing they did. So stop talking about paying people. The whole NIL thing is. Do you think that's a good thing for college football? or not?
I think it's good in theory. I don't think it's good on how it has been executed.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, it seemed to me like the NCAA got so much pressure on the players need to make money, players need to make money, that they just kind of said, okay, you can, but there's no structure to it at all. And all the it, all, I was reading on it today, like every state's laws on it are a little different. So, and every university's policies on it are a little different. But the intent of it all was okay, name, image, and likeness. Okay, that's sponsorships, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, commercials, endorsements, put your face on a video game. But the way I see it happening is, um, like the Tennessee quarterback that's there now, Nico Lamalova or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like it was known, it was public knowledge last year. Okay, Nico, he's going to Tennessee, and they gave him $5 million of NIL money. I'm like, how's that work? Who gave him the money? What? The university can't directly give him the money.
No, it's through like the collective or whatever.
Yeah, so who's the collective? What I mean, to me, it's just like the collective is running.
Boosters.
Yeah, it's an organized money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
Like
So
send it in through the collective, and you can send it to the player, right?
exactly. So I always thought it was just supposed to be like you can go get a sponsorship and the university can help you or somebody can help you get like a sponsorship for a commercial. I never
Uh,
thought I when I first heard about NIL, I never thought it was going to be like here's some money to come play for us.
yeah, that's what it seems to be. That's what how it doesn't sound like that was the intent, but that sounds like what it is, and it seems like people are comfortable enough to say that in public.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the kid at UNLV that just redshirted, he's like, they told me they were going to give me $1 million. The defense or $100,000.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator told me he was going to give me $100,000. So when I got here, they never gave it to me. So I'm leaving.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
the
like,
school still can't directly pay a player. I
right.
think that's going to change. I think the latest lawsuit says the schools have to pay players.
Yeah. Oh, I
But
didn't know that.
yep, so
But
they're going to pay. Then I don't know where NIL goes. Do they just go on top of the payment? Like I don't. How do you judge who gets paid? Is it a base
yeah,
amount for all football players, or is it like by star? Like your top quarterback gets this much, or
yeah, I don't, it's weird. And the other thing is this. Okay, so the NCAA is still being hard on uh, Kirk Ferentz called Cade McNamara 1 week before the transfer portal opened. So he's in a bunch of trouble.
yeah,
And Jim Harbaugh, he's stealing signs, whatever. He's in a bunch of trouble. But like, I haven't heard one school, team, player get in trouble for how the NIL money is distributed. Is it just
no,
free for all? It's just like you got a big bag and everyone sticks their hand in, or
I
what?
have no idea. I
So
don't.
like, I let me share an experience we had. So Micah, my son, he loves Jay Higgins. So last year I found Jay Higgins had an NIL site. You could get on there, and Jay Higgins would you pay a fee, you send a description. It's like Cameo, and he'll give a video message to whoever you want. So
Yep.
we're going to do it for Micah's birthday. So I sent it in, and then Jay just sent us an email directly through the site. He said, "Hey, can I just do this for free?" He said, "When I do these, I have to fill out all this NIL paperwork for the NCAA whenever I get any NIL money, and it's just a pain in the butt. Let me just do it for free. He's a kid." And I go, "Sure." So I'm like,
That's
obviously there's some sort of documentation somewhere, and no one's ever gotten in any trouble for how
it
they're.
seems like it's weird that no one's gotten in any trouble.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't really. It seems like it's just a free for all, and I don't know.
I think it'd be better if the colleges just paid them.
Yes, because right now it's still the colleges are making an enormous amount of money, and when NIL started, they're still not. They're still making just as much. nothing is cut out of what they were already making.
No, the fans are paying for the players.
Yes. Fans and the boosters and
So
whatever.
somehow the colleges get to keep all their money.
They keep all their ticket sales, all their T-shirts,
and the fact that fans aren't getting they're not sick of this,
TV rights, all that stuff. The university still just banking all of that.
Every Big Ten team is making $100 million this year.
Yeah.
It's
these universities are making just enormous. Like, that's what needs to happen. Like, some of that money needs to go to the players.
Exactly.
But I think it should all be. You got to make it an even playing field somehow.
I don't know how, because you got schools that are FBS that are not big schools, like, I don't know, let's say the Mountain West.
Yeah. You're right. But
how do they pay? I mean, is it a certain percentage of your profits or whatever?
Well, you could always do it profit sharing like MLB does. Like, basically the Yankees float the Devil Rays,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Do you think they should do like contracts with the players? I mean, because there is a lot of transfers and stuff. Do you think contracts should?
If I was a coach or a university, I would want that 100%.
Exactly.
I would want that. Yeah, there's got to be. I get so tired of watching the Iowa Hawkeye Facebook pages that say they do a big press release. We got a commitment from a 3-star recruit from Minnesota or whatever. I'm like, that is not a commitment.
No,
that is just someone that says they're coming to your school. There's nothing binding. It means nothing. He's 18. He's 17. He could change his mind tomorrow. Like, none of that means anything until the guy is on the field to me.
I mean, somebody like, let's just say like from Minnesota goes, hey, what's Iowa offering you for payment?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll put 10,000 more on top of that.
Yeah. It's kind of a bidding war. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think there should be a signed contract. You commit, you sign contract, and
yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like the kid at UNLV, the quarterback, he had a verbal agreement that he was going to get $100,000. Well, that's a foolish 21-year-old kid that didn't get anything in writing, right? I mean, we're saying that
he has an agent.
Yeah, he's got an agent now.
No, he had an agent then.
Oh, really? Oh,
so I don't know how he didn't get anything in writing.
Yeah, that's
like his agent is the worst.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's silly. No, that's why you hire an agent, to tell you, get it in writing, kid.
The whole thing of an agent is you're making 10%, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just screwing yourself out of $10,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that whole story, to me, I didn't blame the kid for leaving, but I do blame him for, you should have, before you made any decisions, got that in writing. So
yeah, because one, the school has nothing to do with it. They're not supposed to have anything to do with this NIL.
Yeah,
so whoever their collective is, or whoever, like the defensive coordinator can't say, we're going to give you $100,000. They can't. I mean,
yeah. Well, what UNLV did is they took, basically they told that defensive coordinator, they did not let him speak to the press. They just said, you can't talk to the press. Only the head coach can. The head coach says, we never made any agreements to pay this kid. And then the booster club says, we never made any agreement with this kid. And then the university just goes, the kid's trying to strong arm $100,000 out of us.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how they wash their hands of it all.
Josh is saying college paying players will ruin college sports across the board. So, he thinks that lawsuits are going to happen, that everybody should have equal pay on the team. And I think that is going to happen. Between this new lawsuit that people had, I think colleges, I think it's going to be at least an equal base pay.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be then NIL, I think, is going to even go over top of that for certain players.
I could see that.
That's what I'm guessing NIL will turn into.
Are you talking base pay across sports?
Well, whatever, because was it Section 9 or whatever?
Yeah.
So whatever amount of, so if they pay, let's say they pay college, They don't have to pay all the sports. So
Oh, okay.
they can scholarship all the sports. They can scholarship all the sports, but they can select, like football gets paid, but then they got to have the equal amount of scholarship, or that women getting paid as well.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah, so it'd be like basketball, whatever, women's wrestling in Iowa,
uh-huh.
then soccer or whatever. So I mean, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Like if you pay the males, you have to pay the females as well. You can't just go to football.
I got you. But do they got to pay them the same amount of money?
Yes.
Are we going to get into the whole
I
women's
don't
soccer
know.
thing?
Well, no one's really figured this out, so
Oh,
I don't know.
right.
So, but yes, I know that women have to get paid, as well as many players you pay men, like for male football players or whatever sport you do, say basketball for like the Big East or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you have to pay this equal amount of women for Section 9.
I see. I see how this could get complicated because these universities are a lot of them are public universities. It's not like it's a private entity, like where you can just pay based on how much money
Yeah.
your ticket sales, like WNBA versus NBA. Like those
Yep.
are private entities. These are public universities. So yeah, I see how that could
Like,
get.
I don't know how like Northwestern do it because they're not a public university, they're private.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I mean, I still think Section 9 applies to them.
Yeah. I don't know how they. Yeah, I don't know what
Because the
they.
NCAA is a governing board, so I believe that no, I think it's a law, right? So I don't know. I don't know that enough. I guess I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would.
I don't know how private universities they have to follow rules or not.
I Notre Dame would be the same way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a
Um,
public university.
yeah. They're private, so I'm not sure how that Section 9 would all come into play, but
Huh, yeah.
it would seem odd though, or it would seem strange that you would have like Michigan with the biggest stadium in college football, and they can't pay their quarterback any more than like New Mexico State University.
Right?
That would just seem.
Unless it is profit sharing,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
then it wouldn't.
But
Then it
but
wouldn't
even
matter.
if
But then the parity,
even to pay him the same,
yeah,
like to be the quarterback at Michigan, I think is harder. It takes a better skill set than to be the quarterback at New Mexico State University.
yeah, you would think, yeah.
I mean, just the pressure on the program. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know how any of this is all like. What they did was the NCAA had such a stranglehold,
They did.
but then all of a sudden these lawsuits came out, so they had this like, they just had to try to like just jump on board, like they just had to just like throw all this crap out there, and it's just like the wild west right now. I mean,
Yeah.
people are doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. I think back to 15 years ago, Ohio State. I think they had that quarterback Terrell Pryor, and he got busted for
Selling jerseys, wasn't it? Or
he was signing some jerseys, and they like threw the book at him for autographing some jerseys and like taking like $2,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to where we are today, and it's like, what, you signed a jersey? Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, it is Title IX.
Okay.
Josh pointed out here, which he typed a lot. Jesus, you want me to read that?
Man.
Public. I think he just took the Wikipedia thing and
I hope that's
posted it. Because there ain't no way he came up with that. So, yeah, Josh isn't that smart about stuff.
Yeah, I don't. All that's beyond me. I don't know how that would work, but it just seems like the universities shouldn't be pocketing this millions upon millions, and these players just all they can do is they can make money off of being in a video game or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it all came to be because of NCAA 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Was it that triggered
EA
it?
Sports NCAA 14 because they didn't have the players' names on it, but they had their likeness and their numbers.
Uh-huh.
So
All of them? Oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how this whole thing started.
They just changed the names.
Yeah, they just changed the
Oh,
names.
uh-huh.
Maybe I mean yeah, it was all the same though.
You know the guys that the interesting wrinkle in all of this are the guys that are good enough to be a star in college, but they really don't have much of a pro career. So they're trying to make as much as they can in college because they know pretty much when their eligibility's up, they're not really going much further. So I think that UNLV kid is kind of one of those like that. I think LaShawn Williams that just left
Yep.
Iowa, he's kind of one like that. One that always sticks out in mine was Jordan Bohannon from
Oh
Iowa.
yeah.
He how many years eligibility did he end up getting? Like 7.
7, I think. Yeah.
So many. But he was one of those guys that he really wasn't going to do much at the pro level. So he was just maximizing what he could do at
Yeah.
Iowa.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So
So that's kind of the other wrinkle of this. These guys trying to just make as much as they can with their eligibility now. And so,
well, Chris, we're about at 50 minutes here, so I'm just going to jump over to the part that I really care about.
okay.
And that's the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh yeah. Let's go there.
So, we were both Hawkeye fans, obviously.
Uh-huh.
How have they performed up to your like preseason expectations? Do you think is this about where you expected them? Do you think they should have been better somewhere? Or?
Um, they're. I thought they were going to be better. It seems like the Tim Lester implementation took longer than expect. Probably took about as long as it should have. I was hoping for more
I
uh,
think everybody was, yeah.
immediate success and change. The Troy game, yeah, we beat Troy. Troy is awful. Like,
I know.
have you seen how they've done since they played us? They lose to Southwestern.
Oh, I know.
Byzantine
Troy looked like
State.
they might win whatever league they're in. I don't even know what league they're in.
Yeah. They're awful, and so they shouldn't have even been in that game with us. Iowa State, obviously, that was just really hard to watch.
Oh,
But then they came back. I mean, they controlled Minnesota. Ohio State,
they looked good in the first half.
in Ohio
They
State,
even moved the ball well, I think, in the first half.
did they? I didn't. You know what? I got to be honest. I didn't even watch Ohio State.
Did you not?
That's
What
how
happened
much I
was,
got in it.
yeah, so the first half, they actually moved the ball well. They missed a field goal.
Yeah.
I think they turned it over. No, they didn't turn it over. I still think they got close enough again. But I mean, they still moved the ball well against, and it was 7-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
So you're like, there's still a chance, one fluke play,
Uh-huh.
and they can win this, or at least get close. Then Cade McNamara just turned it over 3 times in a row right away, one after
Yeah.
another after. So it went from 7-0 to 21-0 in like 4 minutes of the second half.
Yeah. That third quarter
like
was backbreaker. Yeah.
like I thought Cade McNamara was going to be better. I did. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand he doesn't have that great of weapons, but to have only 100-yard passing game in 6 games.
Yeah. I checked on that. I was actually wrong on that. I think
Were you?
I think in one of them FBS games he threw for
Oh yeah, probably like whatever Illinois State or whatever it was.
FCS games he did a little better than that, but none of his Big Ten games.
Yeah,
he got over 100 except against Washington. And
yeah. Last week was the first time he threw a touchdown against a Power 4 team.
Yeah,
since he played Iowa in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah. I just think Cade McNamara, he had success at Michigan. He's obviously been successful before somewhere else. So I'm not. I'm still blaming his issues on the coaching staff. Like I mean, we saw Spencer Petras, Deacon Hill. Like no one's been good. Nate Stanley was just like competent.
Let's be honest. Their receivers aren't like world beaters right now. I mean,
yeah.
They haven't had a lot of great.
Last time they had a world beater receiver, and who's
Amir Smith, Marset, and Smith.
Yeah, and a tangent with Amir Smith Marset.
Yeah,
that guy was such a bozo. Like every time
he's still playing for the Giants, though.
every time he got the ball, I was like, oh no, what's he gonna do dumb now?
Yeah.
And you what, in his pro career, he's had like some pretty significant bozo plays too.
Oh yeah, he had it with the Bears. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I don't know if he fumbled or he caught it. He just
yeah,
like bobbled it up straight up in the air or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And
It was like a it ended a game or something.
yeah, they cut him the next week.
Yeah. Well, remember in Iowa, he did a front flip into the end zone and broke his ankle or
Yeah,
something. And then he got a DUI doing 70 miles an hour on Riverside in a Camaro in Iowa City.
yeah. Like, what are you doing, man?
I know, I know. Well,
So
and then there was the Outback Bowl. Outback Bowl. They played Mississippi State. He decided to return a kickoff, and then he tried to like just jump into a pile, and obviously then fumbled. And Mississippi State, I'm pretty sure they got the ball. I mean, we still won that game, but
yeah, but still, it was dumb.
it was dumb. The only game, the game that always everybody points to that redeems him is the Holiday Bowl against USC, where
Yeah, he had like 3 touchdowns that game.
he did, he had like a
Yeah,
he
kick
ran a,
return and 2. Didn't he have a end around?
he
And
did,
he had
yeah, yeah,
so he had a running return and a passing or receiving touchdown, I think.
yeah. He was
I think he almost had a passing touchdown that game too.
really,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure like somebody came within the 1 yard line of him having a passing touchdown.
Oh yeah,
So I think they did a
he did
fake or
really well in
something.
that game. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, so before him, you got. I remember in the early 2000s, you had McNutt and DJK. Remember them?
Yep.
And DJK with Daryl Johnson Koulianos. He was better than Marvin McNutt, but
Also like Amir Smith Marset.
he
He's
got
just got,
into he got into Ferenz's doghouse,
yep.
and he just never was able to reach his full potential.
He
But
just would never just like he was just too outspoken for Ferentz.
yeah, yeah, Ferenz has never done. Yeah, you know the big flashy receivers have never done well with Ferenz. So
No. No, you got to be able to block. That's the main thing.
that's
Before
the thing.
receiving, you got to be able to block.
Yeah. So unless you just want to be like a good solid college receiver, you don't go to Iowa. Like if you want to go to the pros as a
No.
wide receiver, you don't go to Iowa.
No.
Don't. So that makes it hard to recruit. Yeah. When you don't when you're never going to get the ball, why would you
If you want 3 catches, maybe
Yeah.
a game,
Yeah.
go to Iowa.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're blocking the whole time.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, Caleb Johnson, well, it's working, I guess.
He's good. He's good, and he was good his freshman year.
Yeah,
He had
last
that
year I
game-
think he was hampered by injuries.
he had some injury issues. And his freshman year, he had a game against Purdue where I think he had like 2 or 3 real long touchdown runs.
Yep.
And so yeah, he's good. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, he's going
Yeah,
to
I
do
think
well.
so.
I mean, hopefully, I'd like to see him break Sean Green's record as the most yards for a Hawkeye. It'd be fun. So, hope he continues to do well.
Is there anything you'd like to change about the way they're playing? Like, what would you change anything on the offense or defense, or is this about where you like it, like slow and methodical and tight
Yeah.
defense?
I think you and I talked about this a little bit last week. I wouldn't use Caleb Johnson in the short yardage situations. I'd have him out there as a threat, but if we're going to just line up and push for a yard, I'm not giving him the ball. Like
No,
that's foolish. He's your bell cow. Like if he gets hurt, your season's over.
I'd put Jazz Patterson in.
Yeah, I like him. He should be number 2.
Yeah,
Moulton is he's on another. He's way below those 2 in my opinion.
yeah, I think he's a decent back for a spell for both of them, but like once in a while, just for
Yeah,
maybe a change of pace. I don't know. Maybe he's receiving. I don't know if he's any better at receiving or whatever. I don't know.
Patterson. He had a good game last year against Iowa State,
Yeah,
and he had some injury issues as well. But I think he's the clear number 2 back, and then you've got that big fullback, Large. You use him. I
I like
think
Sullivan in the inside the 20 or inside the 10.
I think that's really creative, and I think that's real smart what they're doing with him. I wish they'd use Luke Lachey more, get him the
Yeah,
ball.
I don't get
I
what's going
mean,
on with that.
I don't either.
I
I
don't know
mean,
if he's still hurt or kind of like still recovering or.
I just don't know.
But
That's all I would change. I think McNamara is. I don't. He's good enough, and we're using Sullivan's mobility where we really need it. And
I think as long as McNamara doesn't do what he did with Iowa State in the
oh,
interception and the three mistakes. Well, one was really on him. Two maybe because I think he had a fumble, and the fact that he does not. Have you ever noticed he doesn't hold the laces?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, he doesn't like if he doesn't need like he doesn't hold the laces, like he doesn't find the laces. So however the ball comes to him is how he's throwing it.
Really?
Yeah, and he's fumbled like twice because without holding the laces. And I don't know if it's because he didn't hold the laces. Like you would think it would be a little extra grip, but I mean it's weird. He'll throw it without holding the laces, and I think somebody tracked it to where like at least two of his interceptions came because he wasn't holding the laces.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't know that anybody did that.
me neither.
I thought it's just like common knowledge. That's what you do.
Me neither.
That's funny.
So a lot of it, I don't know if you know who Chris Hassel is.
Uh-uh.
So he was like he's like sportscaster on like sports like CBS and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But so he went to Iowa and I think he went to Augustana, but he's an Iowa fan and stuff. So he does a podcast for Iowa Everywhere. It's the Iowa Everywhere podcast, and I think
Uh-huh.
his is like because it's a whole network of different Iowa centric sports talk.
Yeah.
And his is two guys with him and Chris Williams, who's an Iowa State guy. So it's a pretty good podcast. I would recommend listening to that if you have a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like PG. I mean, it's explicit, so I wouldn't
Okay.
listen to it with the kids around or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. That's
They're
funny.
talking about placentas and stuff there for a while.
Oh
So,
no. Okay.
yeah, so but I
That's
mean, it's a
funny.
good podcast. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd give it a listen. Yeah, but they talk about Iowa and Iowa State is what they talk about every week.
Okay. All
So it's a
right.
pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. So I'd recommend that.
That's funny.
So, Chris, we're going to get to the last few questions real quick. Who wins the Big Ten?
I think it's Ohio State.
You don't think Oregon's going to do it?
I think Ohio State will learn enough from that last game, and they'll rebound, and they'll probably play Oregon in the Big Ten championship, and I think they'll win because
That-
they lost to Oregon in Oregon, weird bonehead things, way way across the country. They'll play them in Indianapolis. I think they prevail.
Yeah, I think so too. And who do you think wins the national championship?
I go back to like we said earlier. I would say Georgia.
I think Georgia too.
I think Georgia's, especially if they beat Texas Saturday. I think they've kind of learned from the Alabama game. They're going to grow, and they're just going to. I think they're just going to finish. I think SEC. The rest of SEC is just going to beat up on themselves enough that it's just going to ultimately Georgia's going to rise to the top, and I still, even though I love the Big Ten, I think that and I prefer to watch Big Ten football. I just think the SEC just got a half a tick better than the Big Ten right now. So I think the winner of the SEC is going to win the championship at the
I
end.
think so as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me, and it was fun, man. So it was nice seeing you again, and we should do this again sometime.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I had a lot of fun. It was good to catch up, and best of luck.
Yeah.
And take care, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
Talk to you later.
Ow, ow, ow.